Welcome everyone. This is Math3124 Modern Algebra. My name is Professor Nick Lohr from the Virginia Tech Math Department. And in this video, I just want to go over some of the course administration stuff that we'd normally talk about on the first day. Let's see if I can get my screen to show you the Canvas site, which you've probably already found. This is the front page for the site that will have various announcements and things. And I just wanted to show you some of the stuff that's here. I'll post documents like the syllabus and problem sets and so forth in the files section of Canvas. Right now, there's several things there. Let's take a look at the course policy statement and go over the basics for the course. I've written my contact information here, my email and office and so forth. The class in the first week is, of course, online, like all classes at Virginia Tech. And after the first week, the plan is that we'll actually have an in-person class, a normal class that meets in a classroom. This is Lavery Hall 320, the upper floor of the dining hall across from McBride Hall. Meeting 125 Monday, Wednesday, Friday, starting in the second week. So I hope to see you all there soon enough. I will mention it's impossible for me to sort of simultaneously produce an online version and an in-person version of this course, all at once. So if you're nervous or about health risks from an in-person class, I will mention there is a different hybrid section of Math3124, Tuesday, Thursday, 12:30, I think, taught by Professor Jasso. So you can certainly switch into that section if you need to. I won't be offended, of course. Office hours, on the other hand, because there is not space in my office to have the 6-foot physical distancing, I don't think I'm allowed to have normal in-person office hours. Many questions can be addressed by email, like short targeted questions on different homework problems or whatever. That's a recommended approach to getting in touch with me, and you'll get a rather fast reply. I will also have some Zoom office hours, and the front page, which we'll go back to in a second, will tell you when those are. Because of the funny spring break system where there's weird break days and different weekdays, the schedule is sort of rather complicated. I won't try to set a one time for office hours, but I'll announce them. You'll see times, on Canvas based on when homeworks are due. And if you need another time, I can certainly set stuff up by appointment, by email. But hopefully that'll be a start for having some interaction that way. The textbook that I've recommended on the syllabus, Modern Algebra by John Durbin, is not a requirement. It's simply a reference if you want to have something that's fairly close to the lectures that I'll give. As far as the content, I won't cover the book in order. Everything we do will be my lectures. You'll take notes on the lectures, and that's where all the content will come from. But certainly if you want to have a book to look at, that's a decent one. Doesn't matter what edition you get. I think it's up to maybe the 6th edition now. The others, some earlier editions might be cheaper. The prerequisite is the proofs class, Math 3034. For the grading, as noted here, it'll be a mixture of weekly problem sets that will be 1/3 of the total grade. There'll be a problem set every week, roughly, except when there's a test week. So maybe 10 or 11 problem sets. So each one is maybe about 3% of the total grade. Be certain that you turn in every problem set. The fastest way to sort of get a lower grade is to sort of not turn in one or more problem sets, which seems to happen almost every semester. Someone does that. And I really want you to turn them in all in, even if you maybe can't complete every single problem every time. There's also going to be exams, 3 midterms and a final, 4 exams total, each of which will be 1/6 of the total grade. And I've written the standard scale, the A minus cutoffs that you're used to for many classes. And I'll just mention that the cutoffs will be no stricter than this. They could be more lenient, but that is not guaranteed. We wait till the end to see. So like maybe an 89.2, that might be an A minus. It's not guaranteed. 90.0 guarantees an A minus, for example. And with the pandemic and stuff, it's possible I'll be more lenient than these cutoffs, but not by much. At least if last semester was any judge. So take note of that. All courses at any moment might become online temporarily, permanently, based on the health situation. And in particular, if I get sick, I would have to cancel the class and there'd be like a video or something instead. I will really try as hard as possible for the exams to be in person, however. And last semester I taught this course as well, and everybody was clamoring for more time on the exams. 50 minutes can be kind of tight for a class like this, or even 60, 65 minutes if you stretch out and go 5 minutes over or whatever. So I want to explore the possibility that some of the exams, maybe all of the midterms, might be given in the evening from say 6:30 to 8 or something like that. Or possibly if we manage to get the exams to land on Fridays, we might be able to do something like 1:25 to 3 o'clock, starting with the Friday class and going an extra 30 minutes. The idea being that 2:30 classes are almost all Monday, Wednesday, not Friday. And so there's the chance that most of you, if all of you were free, and we'll have a poll or something to see if that's true, if all of you were free on Friday at that time, we could just do that and not have to have an evening exam. The exams won't be any longer, by the way, but you'll just have more time to sort of think about things. It'll be less stressful if we get to do those longer exams. I can't, again, because of the spring break stuff, I can't give you exact exam dates yet, but I will predict that the first exam is likely going to be February 17th, 18th, or 19th. That's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, possibly in the evening. So make a note of that window of time for the first exam. Problem sets, as I mentioned, the hope is that you can just, as you're used to from before the pandemic, write your answers on sheets of paper and staple those sheets of paper together with your name on it and turn them in like in person in class, and get them back later. And it's always possible we might have to do some sort of online submission type thing. I'll let you know if that's the case. Certainly if you got sick or something, you could turn in your homework that way. There, you want to be able to scan your pieces of paper into a single PDF file and email them to me. Don't try to submit stuff through Canvas. That, for some reason, my computer, that doesn't work very well. And there's a different document we'll look at that talks about that in more detail. And with the problem sets, I just wanted to warn you, they're somewhat thorough. I mean, they're rather involved, and they're meant to be worked on throughout the week, like over the course of 6 or 7 days, not the night before. You might find it too long if you wait till the very end, and that's not the intention. I'll grade most of the problem sets for correctness, but a few problems might only be looked at to make sure you completed them, and wouldn't be, you'd get points regardless of whether it was right or wrong. Most of them will be looked at for correctness, however. I won't take late problem sets without a reason. And similarly with exams and so forth, we're all aware of the reasons that might come up at any moment with health concerns and so forth. If you are ill or possibly ill with symptoms, you're required to not go to class and to email me as soon as you know about the situation. We're rather lax on the documentation requirements, but please don't abuse the situation. Like, miss class because you have a legitimate reason, not because you just wanted to miss class or wanted to turn something in late. There has to be a reason. I'll certainly work with you about a makeup exam or taking a problem set a little bit late or electronically if there's a reason. All right. For collaboration on homework, you can certainly have general discussions with others in the class about the homework problems, but you have to write up your own solutions. You can't copy or paraphrase somebody else's solutions. You can't, look for solutions on the internet. And there isn't any collaboration of any kind on exams. It's closed book, closed notes, closed cell phones, no collaboration on all of the 4 exams. The health statement, and you're all well aware of this, of course, but just to emphasize, especially since it's an in-person class, you must follow all of the guidelines from Virginia Tech. This, most importantly, wearing the face coverings at all times during class, the physical distancing of the 6 feet and sitting in the desks that have been the marked locations and stuff, not coming to class if you have signs of illness, obeying whatever mandatory tests and so forth come along. I'm sorry to impose this burden upon you, but we're all well aware of the reasons and what's at stake. So I appreciate you conforming to these guidelines as I will as well, of course. Attendance, we talked about that. Online classes, again, the first week is all online, and hopefully that's it. But again, if I'm ever sick, there could be a temporary lapse back to online videos and stuff. Or if the situation changes and the university has different rules, then of course that could also happen as well. And the topics will be a different video that's up that gives sort of an introduction to the course. We won't go through that right now. University Honor Code, there's this long text here that comes from them that's required to show up on the syllabus. You should read this. I just want to mention there's a pledge. I've neither given nor received unauthorized assistance on this assignment that is supposed to be written out on everything you turn in, all homeworks and tests. I just want to mention, I don't require you to do that, to actually write the sentence down every time. Nevertheless, I will assume that you are adhering to the pledge, even though it isn't written on your paper, as also noted right here. If you have a special need, if like the double time tests and stuff, and you know, if you're one of those students that is entitled to that, I need to get the letter from Services for Students with Disabilities well in advance of the test, ideally right at the beginning of the semester. Especially this semester, it will take a bit longer maybe to figure out the logistics of that. So I really need to know sort of now, as opposed to like the day before the test or something. All right. And again, anything I just said might suddenly change if the university changes and there'll be a new document and stuff if that happens. Hopefully that won't be the case. But there's just that little disclaimer there. And okay, so there's that. Let's see if I said everything I wanted to here. I think so. All right, and just let's quickly look at some of these, the online skills. You should just sort of look at where I talk about what you have to do. There's this app, Genius Scan, though you can certainly use a different app. If you ever do have to scan in your homework and email it to me, it needs to be a single PDF file, not a bunch of photos, which is too much of a mess to try to sort through that. You should use the file names indicated, like which problem set it is and your last name to help me sort through all the things coming in. Again, we're expecting physical submission of homework, physical pieces of paper, homework and exams, but this is just if needed. You want to be aware of this. Similarly with Zoom, I'm sure you've all used Zoom for hundreds of hours now. You've already installed it and so forth. You're better at Zoom than I am. But for office hours and so forth, we're going to use that. And for the online class meetings, there'll be asynchronous videos. Well, I'll show you one of them. Of course, you're already watching one, right? So you've already found that, presumably. But so those are some of the online components we'll have to look at. Another thing I put up that might be useful, I mentioned that 3034 was a prerequisite for this class. And I just made up this little handout, like a 3-page handout to help you remember if you haven't, I don't know when you all took proofs, but things like how do you negate a complicated statement, or how do you what's a contrapositive proof or contradiction proof or proof by cases, if and only if, what are the sort of outlines of proofs, set proofs, and induction proofs, and some sort of general advice about proofs that will help you. You have to memorize definitions to be able to do proofs involving those definitions, using status words to indicate the meaning of each statement and variable in your proof. Again, you can read this in detail later. And actually, I hope this doesn't seem too self-congratulatory, but I actually wrote a book on proofs that you can, I believe, access for free as a Virginia Tech student by going to the library catalog and getting to the book that way and getting a PDF version. Just in case something comes up that you didn't remember from proofs, maybe like one-to-one functions or something, there'll be a book there you can look at for even more details. But of course, this is all stuff you've in principle seen before, and I'll certainly review aspects of this stuff as we need it in the modern algebra material as well. But just so you were aware of that reference. There's the first problem set. Again, this will be due Wednesday of the second week, but it's up for you to start working on as soon as you watch the videos and so on. Again, so 5 problems, but sort of each part of the problem, like 5A, B, C, might be more intricate than you'd initially expect. So don't sort of say, oh, I'll just do it the day before. Work on it gradually. And you can ask me questions, again, by email, by office hours, if things come up. But you should certainly try problems yourself first before just sort of asking a vague, how do you do number 3 type question. All right. And the last thing we can look at here, I guess, again, you've probably already seen it, but the videos, let's go back to the homepage first. So you're already watching one of the videos, right? So there's 2 more for this first week in the media gallery. And actually, it looks like, because I'm doing the student view, let me not try to go there. Again, you presumably found it if you're watching this video. But there's 2 more videos that would sort of correspond together with this one to the Wednesday and the Friday of the first week of class. Be sure to watch those videos and take notes on them before next week. I mean, I won't have time to repeat all of this information when we finally do meet in person. So be sure you've done that. And I think there's like a comment or something in the videos. They're available on YouTube as well, the exact same videos. For some people, that was easier to get to when the whole university is watching these videos. For all your different classes, Canvas tended to break, and YouTube doesn't. The videos are also quite a bit shorter as far as the amount of data going into your computer. If you have a data limit or something, if you watch them on YouTube, I've noticed they get compressed much better by YouTube. All right, so watch those videos and begin to work on that problem set. Let's do the Wednesday, I think January 27th. And I think that's it for now. Again, just looking at my notes here to make sure I didn't forget anything. Again, I look forward to one of the very few in-person classes the university is offering this spring. I hope you enjoy it. I'm very excited to teach it and to meet all of you. Okay, so thanks very much for listening. And that should be it.